Finals MVP now. Just on the flip side, right? If Boston's going to win, Tatum's going to have to play great. Kind of like same kind of deal. Like obviously Luka's going to have to be Luka if the Mavericks are going to win. Do you want to make the case for any other non-Luka Doncic Dallas Maverick, if Dallas wins, that player could win Finals MVP? Kyrie's the obvious one, but anyone else potentially at a huge price, obviously, for the Mavericks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on what you can get on Kyrie. No one else can win. There's no way anybody else can win for Dallas. It's one of the two players, and Luka's going to win way more often. I mean, look, if you told me Kyrie was 50-1 or 100-1 or something, maybe it's even worth a couple bucks. This profiles to me really similarly to Jokic and Jamal Murray last year, where Jamal Murray was like so good and so awesome, but was clearly the second best player on the team. So it didn't matter at all when he was really good because the other guy was really good too. Because like all tiebreakers go to Luka, all situations where Kyrie's even a little better go to Luka. So I just, Kyrie can win. I just don't think it's ever worth it to bet it. We've had favorites win so many things, awards, this kind of stuff, titles. The Chiefs were not the favorite, but like people think that they were because they have Patrick Mahomes. UConn won. Michigan wasn't the favorite, but people were, they're one of the lower price teams. I think the Panthers are going to win the Stanley Cup if the Celtics win. And it's like, I feel like all the time people do I think when you do betting content, people think that, oh, well, like I have to give the 20-1 or the 50. Like that's my job is to give the 50-1, because it's value. Like
no, I'm
people
so
think
happy you said that, because I was going to say there's a second part to that, which is you must, like the scarlet letter, you must have the scarlet letter V attached to whatever content you're putting out there, where I am going to pull this out of my derriere and it will be
and sell it
value.
Yeah, and I'm gonna sell it. Like you're gonna think there's no way anybody else can win anything, and like we're gonna do the College World Series later. Like I think Tennessee's gonna win, and Jake thinks Texas A&M's gonna win, and they're the two favorites. It's just like because you know who tends to win, especially when we get to the end of the year. The team everyone thinks is the best. They just tend to win a lot, and like they don't always win. But that honestly, you're like, well, sometimes doesn't like a underdog win or doesn't like a team with a big price win. Yeah, the Chiefs. This past year, when they were 11-1 going into the postseason and nowhere close to the favorite.
I can't believe
like people want to revisionist history this Ravens game like it was nothing. It's like no one liked them, so let's not do that. Like no one liked them. They're the crazy team, and they have Patrick Mahomes. So just people want to give out the 50-1. Like that's great. It just there's a bunch of things where the 50-1 comes in a little more. It happens, in the College World Series or in the college baseball tournament, some upsets happen a little more often, probably in baseball award markets where you can't bet a lot of money, like Rookie of the Year. You could have a guy be like 100-1 and then maybe he ends up winning the award. I don't know what Luis Heel was at the start of the year, but he may win for the Yankees. There are markets where you can get away with that on the regular, thinking of things that way. This kind of stuff, yeah, I mean, it can happen. Andre Iguodala did. He really won. That really happened. Tony Parker really won. That happened. But,
Leicester City, like a once-in-a-lifetime sort of deal.
But just
like the Haley's Comet of sports.
Right. But when you show up in every market being like, that's the goal is to look for that, you're just not going to have the winner ever. You're just not. And man, you better, whatever long shot it is, you better nail it every time. Otherwise you're broke at the end. Long shots win sometimes. Can you nail the exact one? That exact one? Because it's not enough to be like, I'm betting 7 of them. Welcome to golf betting. Welcome to how that works and why nobody wins any money doing that. It's like, well, I had the winner. Well, didn't you have 9 other guys? Well, yeah, but I had the winner. Come on, I had it. I think you're just going to say Luka wins if Dallas wins, so I don't even care about that part of the question. If Boston wins the title and you're right, what is the % chance that Tatum wins? And what's the % chance that someone else, probably Jaylen Brown, wins in about a minute?
It's 40% Tatum, 60% Jaylen Brown. Plus 625 is an outrageously good price. I love Jaylen Brown. Look at the playoff scoring. Jaylen Brown's like a point behind Tatum in playoff scoring. Tatum is going to get the kitchen sink thrown at him by Dallas. Dallas is going to put their best perimeter defender, whether it's PJ Washington or Derrick Jones Jr., who, depending on who they feel is best, on him. And then Jaylen Brown's going to be able to execute on the weak side, running pick and rolls and other types of action. Jaylen's been, in my opinion, the best Celtic this entire season. Tatum's had a great season. I think Jaylen Brown's legitimately been the most impactful. He has better chemistry with Porzingis, who's back now. He's only going to get more opportunities in that spot. We saw that. I liked him in that Eastern Conference Final series, bet him in that series. I like it as well as in this one. Tatum's going to have a high usage mark, but the problem is Tatum just hasn't been as efficient this year. He just hasn't been. And while Tatum will have more assists because he has the ball in his hands more, I think Brown could actually be more impactful, and some of that could even out. I loved Jaylen Brown at plus 625 Finals MVP.
10 seconds for this one. If Jaylen Brown is the best player for the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, can the Celtics win the NBA Finals?
Yes, absolutely 100%, because this is about the Celtics being the better team, and Brown is simply an engine as part of that better team. If Jason Tatum is the best player for the Celtics, I like Boston less.
The Celtics can win if Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum in the series. Just wanted to give you the chance to give your thoughts on that. Now, this isn't like, well, Matt's stupid.
No.
You can disagree with him. Like, we love
Matt.
Matt.
Never be right. Yeah.
But what'd you think of Matt? Matt is someone we respect a lot, and he's very confident in that habit. Doesn't mean he's right. It also doesn't mean he's wrong. What did you think about what he said there about Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, I mean, I can't really, I can't dispute anything that he says. Like, Brown has been really good in this postseason. The difference between the two players is smaller than the difference between the best and second best player on most teams. This is why when we talked about Eastern Conference Finals MVP when you were gone, like, this was the angle that I think a lot of people took, was to play Brown in that market with this kind of same idea. I just think it was interesting that, like, you had, I mean, this will kind of rehash of my argument again, but like, even if he's right about everything, I just thought it was really remarkable that you had a series where, like, every single thing in the series pointed to Brown winning. This series against the Pacers that just ended. So, like, Brown hits the shot in the most memorable moment of the series by far, not even close. His 3 in game 1 is by far the most memorable play. Statistically, he plays, like, as well as Tatum. He has, like, a better game 1 individual scoring performance than Tatum had in the entire series. And the series is a dog. It takes 4 games. It ends extremely fast. So there's no opportunity for Tatum to, like, respond in a meaningful way. And, like, despite all of that happening, Tatum still almost won. So, like, what happens in this series when they're about the same, but Brown doesn't have the miracle shot in game 1 and the, like, 40-plus point game, and the series goes 6, so there's more opportunity for Tatum to outpace him, which started happening in games 3 and 4 as the Pacers series. There's, like, wasn't enough time left for Tatum to do it, is how I looked at it. Like, if they play game 5, if they play game 6, then, like, Tatum's going to start to rebuild a lead. That's how I looked at those games. And, I just feel like, man, you had all that going for Jaylen Brown, and he almost didn't win still. Like, that would have been crazy if Tatum won Conference Finals MVP after that series, and he almost won. Like, he was so close to winning. So I just, like, this isn't going to be a sweep or anything like that, I don't think, unless somebody gets hurt. So there's going to be some opportunity here, like 5, 6, maybe 7 games for a little more, like, averages to play out. And he's right about, like, maybe how the Mavs choose to guard Tatum, how other teams have chosen to guard Tatum, maybe a little more emphasis on him than other players. I think that all makes sense. Just, like, I still think, I guess where we probably disagree and where we're not going to know the answer is, if it's close, who wins? And with almost all teams historically, you usually have a pretty good idea. Like, Luka and Kyrie have about the same stats. Who wins? Luka's going to win every single time. He just is. Kind of why people like the Celtics in the series is, it does feel like, well, first of all, it's incredibly contrarian to like the Celtics. Look at any poll, any segment, anything that talks about this finals. More people think the Mavs are going to win than think the Celtics are going to win. That doesn't mean the betting market is wrong. The betting market is shaped by my, like, influence and, like, how the teams have been all season. And there's a lot of very smart people that really like the Celtics and have liked them all year and have bet them to win the title. So that's why the market is what it is. But, like, you know, the popular consensus is kind of like, oh, well, the Mavs have Luka and they're probably going to win. And the popular consensus out of the last series is like, well, Jaylen Brown won Conference Finals MVP and Tatum didn't play as well, and Tatum hasn't been as good in the postseason. Like, I've watched all the Celtics games. Yeah, like, Tatum had a very long period in the postseason where he did not play very well. The first series, the first couple games against Cleveland, he was making no shots. Like, I totally get that. It's just really hard for me to get to, like, I still think he's going to win more than this price if the Celtics are going to win. Like, and we could disagree on if it's, I think the key to this is you have to ask yourself, if it's pretty close, do you really think they'd give it to Jaylen Brown instead? And you have there's a case to make for what happened last series, and there's a case to make against that all that stuff happened last series and Tatum almost won anyway. And what happens if he outplays Jaylen Brown a little bit? He wins unanimously, I think, if that happens. So I'm not sure the tiebreaker's going to Brown like other people think. I think the tiebreaker goes to Tatum, and I think it took, like, a crazy miracle shot, better early statistical games before Halliburton got hurt, and a very short series. I think it took all of those things for Jaylen Brown to win. So I am less bullish, but I do think it's a really fun argument. I'm not, like, super confident that my position is right.